What's up, guys? Good morning. It's Jonathan with One Big Impact. So it is week 2 of the One Big Impact 8-week challenge. Now, I wanted to cover something really quick, and this can be kind of a complex topic and a little bit of a struggle for each and every person to understand. Now, remember, if you're new here, I understand you may have your views. I don't go around spreading negativity or anything like that. So if you disagree with me, that's fine. I understand there's going to be 100,000 people different ways that have 100,000 different ways of formulating this type of thing. Now, I am going to, this video is how much protein do I need? So I'm going to cover a couple things and then I'm going to go into helping you find out your protein needs and understanding it as easily as possible. So first of all, I would like to calculate it based on, and now this is for a lot of my followers, like including myself, that have a higher body fat percentage. If you're like a lean bodybuilder or something like that, it might be a little bit different for you, and your protein intakes might be higher due to the fact that you have higher muscle mass. But for the general population, I feel that it is best if you base your protein needs off of your lean body mass versus your entire body weight. The reason I say that mostly is because if you have a 20% body fat or a 40% body fat, and say you have 40% body fat and you're 200 pounds, that means you have 80 pounds of fat on you, or whatever it may be. Your percentage of weight is different than your actual percentage of actual weight, if that makes sense. So you may weigh 200 pounds, but you have 100 and some odd pounds of muscle, and you have your skeleton, you have your organs and different things like that. So there's a lot that comes into play, but I'm going to give you an easy way of being able to figure that out. Now, don't panic. I'm not a math whiz or anything, so it's pretty simple to understand. So let's get started. So first of all, how much protein do I need? So for example, this is an example, EX. If you weigh 200 pounds, total body weight, okay? And then check, obviously, if you have your body fat percentage monitor, go ahead and check your body fat. So if you're 40%, I would say delete 40. You would just do 200 minus 40%. Obviously, that's just like $40 out of every 100. So you'd have 100 or down to 80 pounds of fat, roughly. And obviously, it's going to change because of different things that are into play. So roughly, you have about 120 pounds of lean mass on you. So protein intake for 120 pounds. Let's bring you down here. Your lean body mass is going to be 0.8, or I'm sorry, 120 lean body mass. Times that, multiply that by 0.8, and you can see people are going to give you all kinds of different scenarios. They'll say 0.8, or 1.5, blah, blah, blah. Don't worry too much about that. 0.8 is pretty good guesstimate, and the reason I say 0.8 is because this is going to be strictly from proteins, and you'll have different kind of proteins that are available that'll bring you up to the one level that you're not going to necessarily have to count throughout the day. So 0.8 protein per pound of lean body mass. So 120 times 0.8 comes to about 96 grams of protein per day. So basically, in English, and this is the problem that I personally had difficulties with understanding. So I could always figure out my amount of protein needed, right? And I actually was doing this based on my entire weight for a really long time, and I don't personally believe that you should do that, for the main fact of, if you have say 50 pounds of body fat on you, why are you feeding that body fat protein? Now, we've covered some stuff in the past. If you're consuming too much protein, it also goes through that process called gluconeogenesis and then turns right back into being used as glucose and stored as fat further, as well as protein can be very high in calories, so that you're going to be getting like double the calories that you would need from your protein intake, therefore making your journey a lot harder. Now, basically, 96 grams of protein equates to about 12 ounces of chicken breast, equates to equals 100 grams of protein. I hear a lot of the time people are saying, I can't meet my protein needs. I can't eat enough protein. Well, that's probably because, well, either one of two reasons. I personally have never had a problem meeting protein needs, other than the fact that when I'm bulking, I find it difficult to eat 2.5 pounds of chicken a day. That's when supplements come in handy. But if you are just going through the daily process, 100 grams of protein is not going to be a big deal. You probably were eating, your protein intake for your entire body weight. Well, if you're losing weight, chances are you have excessive amounts of fat on you, which means you should not be feeding fat protein. It just doesn't make sense. I mean, even if you argue with me, you could probably hear yourself out loud and it would not make sense. 12 ounces of chicken breast is not a lot. That in a couple examples of like a daily routine as far as your protein intakes, I'm not talking about anything else. So for lunch you would have 6 ounces of chicken, and dinner 6 ounces of chicken. Simple enough, right? And that's not hard to do. Okay, that's about the size of your hand roughly. And then another example would be like 2 eggs for breakfast, 6 ounces of steak for lunch, and then 5 ounces of salmon for dinner. That equates to about 93 grams of protein. Remember, I would only count, especially if you're on Atkins or a low carb regimen, I would only count, for the most part, your main protein sources like eggs, fish, steak, chicken, pork chops, tuna, all the large protein numbers. If you have like ranch dressing and cheese and stuff like that. Cheese you could probably incorporate if you're eating it more than one time a day, but honestly, I would worry about these bigger numbers more so. So I hope that video helps you. If you guys are benefiting from this video, please like, share, comment, and subscribe to our channel. Again, if you're new here, please check out our links in our description below for our Facebook group. It's called Healthy Living for a Healthy Life. This should be a pretty easy way of figuring out some things. If you have to, rewatch it. If you have to, again, rewatch it again. It's okay. Even if you want to, right now, I'll pan out a little bit so you can stop and screenshot that and study it, because it's pretty easy to be able to figure out once you've seen what's happening here. So you guys have a beautiful day. Keep up the good work. Hashtag be stronger than excuses. And remember to spread love, not hate.